So Antti Niemi went on waivers yesterday. I had expected him to go to Vegas. It made the most sense because taking Dylan Ferguson and sending him back down to juniors so that you can have Niemi there as basically a placeholder made sense. However, there was one other, and they pulled the trigger. Antti Niemi is now a Montreal Canadien. Now, the weird thing isn't that he's a Montreal Canadien. It's the way that it's being phrased. Mark Bergevin says that gives him a safety net. Now, I really want to give Niemi the benefit of the doubt. I do. But I really think that if something happened to Charlie Lindgren, a guy who's going to play every game until either Montoya or Price are healthy, if something happened to him, Montreal fans would legitimately have a reason to panic. Antti Niemi played his way to Dallas. Got himself a contract with Pittsburgh. Within a couple of weeks, Pittsburgh decided they'd seen enough, and they get rid of him and shipped him to Florida. Florida only had him off waivers because Luongo was hurt. So once their goaltending was healthy, there was no reason to keep Niemi around. The thing that I'm interested in is this. So this is the fourth team he's belonged to in less than a year. With the way goaltenders keep getting hurt, and I'm looking at teams like Anaheim and Vegas, how many teams could he play for this year? Could Niemi be on one of the weirdest farewell tours we've ever seen? In that he ends up being a backup for 5 or 6 teams before he's out of the league. I mean, we're already up to the third. His stats with Pittsburgh were abysmal. And everybody said, well, the defense was bad in Pittsburgh. Okay. Goes to Florida. His numbers in Florida, limited appearances, of course, not very good either. But Florida's defense is abysmal. Now he's in Montreal. And of course, last year when he didn't make it with Dallas, things were horrible in Dallas. Everybody said, well, the defense in front of him is abysmal. So, is there ever going to be a time where a team grabs Niemi that is perceived to have a really good defense? Because it hasn't happened yet. And usually teams with good defense aren't in the market for a goaltender. But that being said, I really did think he was going to end up with Vegas. So if/when Price and Montoya, or I guess either or of them, are healthy, Niemi will get waived by Montreal. He could end up in Vegas. By the time that Vegas has everything together, he could end up somewhere else. It's strange. And I can't think of a time where I've seen a goaltender in the first month and a half of the schedule play in 3 different organizations. I can't. And I can't think of a situation where he's been waived like this and picked up. I mean, it's happened with players. You'll see players get waived and moved regularly. But it's strange with goaltenders to see this. And it's also strange that we're not seeing trades with goaltenders. And we're not seeing trades much in general these days. That's why we all got excited over the Matt Duchene deal, because a trade happened. So I'm not going to make any mocking claims like, oh, Montreal finally fixed their goaltending, because Niemi won't play. Niemi allows them to send Fucale back down to the American League. Fucale is not ready to be an NHL goaltender. Montreal knows this, Bergevin knows this, and I think all Montreal fans know it as well. It's part of the reason why Montreal fans coming into the season were excited about Lindgren, and Lindgren has not disappointed thus far. He's been fantastic. So I personally think Lindgren can continue this, and we can have that whole wonderful goalie controversy when Carey Price comes back. But there's been goalie controversies in Montreal before with Carey Price. Remember Yarrow Halak? I was one of those people too that thought, well, get rid of Price and keep Halak. So Montreal's been in this place before. Lindgren's played great. I don't mean to disparage him at all, because I'm not trying to. But once the goaltenders are all healthy, I would expect Lindgren to either get moved down or they waive Montoya. So they may end up waiving 2 goaltenders when everything's said and done. I think Niemi is just there to ride the pine, and I think something extreme would have to happen for Niemi to get a start. I don't think he gets a start. And Carey Price assures us he'll be back soon. The problem with that being, he said that before. This is an old story now. Carey Price is hurt, and then, well, I won't be out that long. It reminds me of DiPietro in New York. DiPietro in New York would get an injury. It would look like just some freak thing. And you go, all right, well, Rick DiPietro's out. And then he'd be out for like a month. And it happened all the time. And as the years went by, it happened more and more. It's easy to remember Rick DiPietro as a flop. And it's easy to remember the 15-year contract. And it's easy to remember all these things. DiPietro was a good goaltender at points of his career. He was an all-star netminder in many people's eyes at certain points of his career. And then the injuries derailed him. Now you look at the stats put up by Carey Price this year before he admitted he was hurt. And now there's speculation that he was probably hurt before he admitted he was hurt. Carey Price is a much more talented version right now of Rick DiPietro. The DiPietro comparison I've kind of been drawing in my head. And now they're forced to pick up Niemi because DiPietro/Price is still hurt. Price, as I said, much more talented than DiPietro, but think about it. He's got a 10-year contract. It's an expensive contract. And he appears to be injury prone. So Montreal may find themselves in a very similar situation within the next couple of years that the Islanders found themselves in with DiPietro. I remember it was a year or two into DiPietro's contract that a lot of people said, you know what? This is a smart move. DiPietro's a really solid goaltender, and the Islanders don't have to worry about going out and finding another starter. And then he started getting hurt all the time. So, again, this move is purely made on paper so that Fucale can go down and Lundgren can be the starter, and they don't have to worry about Fucale getting thrown in. But if you're a Montreal fan, honestly, you'd probably be very happy not to see Niemi end up in the net, especially to start a game. Because if he starts a game, it means Lindgren got hurt or Lindgren's fatigued. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way around the internet, you happen upon this video. And I'll talk to you again soon.